with Dickens by Henry Lawson in Windsor Terrace. Number 4, Iĺve taken my abode, a little crescent from the street, a bight from City Road. And, hard up and in exile, I to many fancies yield. For it was here Micawber lived in David Copperfield. A bed, a table, and a chair, a bottle and a cup. The landlordĺs waiting even, now for something to turn up. The landlady is spiritless, they both seem tired of life. They cannot fight the battle like Micawber and his wife. But in the little open space that lies back from the street, the same old ancient, shabby clerk is sitting on a seat. The same sad characters go by, the ragged children play, and things have very little changed since Dickens passed away. Some seek religion in their grief, and some for friendship yearn. Some fly to liquor for relief, but I to Dickens turn. I find him ever fresh and new, his lesson ever plain, and every line that Dickens wrote Iĺve read and read again. The tavernels just across the Louis, L and frowsy women there are gossiping and drinking gin, and twisting up their hair. And grubby girls go past at times, and furtive gentry lurk. I don't think anyone has died since Dickens did his work. Therls jingle, Tig, and Chevy slimy, and Weevil, whom you will, and hard-up virtue proudly slinks into the pawnshop still. Go east a bit from City Road, and all the rest are there. A friendly whistle might produce a chicken anywhere. My favorite author's heroes I should love, but somehow can. I don't like David Copperfield as much as David's aunt, and it may be because my mind has been in many fogs. I don't like Nicholas Nickleby so well as Newman Noggs. I don't like Richard Carstone, Pip, or Martin Chuzzlewit, and for the rich and fatherly I scarcely care a bit. The honest, sober clods are bores who cannot suffer much, and with the Esther Summersons I never was in touch. The Elcharliesl and the haggard wives, kind hearts in poverty, and yes, the Lizzie Hexams, too, are very near to me. But men like Brothers Cheeryble, and Madeline Bray Devine, and Nell, and Little Dorrit live in a better world than mine. The Nicklebys and Copperfields, they do not stand the test, and in my heart I don't believe that Dickens loved them best. I can admire their ways and talk, I do not like their looks, those selfish, injured sticks that stalk through all the Masterls books. They mostly selfish in their love, and selfish in their hate. They married Dora Spenlowes, too, while Agnes Wickfield's wait. And back they come to poor Tom Pinch when hard up for a friend. They come to wrecks like Newman Noga to help them in the end. And, well, maybe I am unjust, and maybe I forget. Some of us marry dolls and jilt our Agnes Wickfields yet. We seek our friends when fortune frowns, it has been ever thus, and we neglect Joe Gargery when fortune smiles on us. They get some rich old grandfather or aunt to see them through, and you can trace self-interest in nearly all they do. And scoundrels like Ralph Nickleby, in spite of all their crimes, and crawlers like Uriah Heep told bitter truths at times. But, yes, I love the vagabonds and failures from the ranks, and hard old files with hidden hearts like Wemmick and like Panks. And Jaggers had his poor dreams, too, and fond hopes like the rest, but, somehow, all my life Iĺve loved Dick Swiveller best. But, let us peep at Snagsby first as softly he lays down beside the bed of dying Joe another half a crown. And Nemil's wretched pauper grave, but we can let them be, for Joe has said to heaven, Elthy woes wery good to me. And Wemmick with his aged P. No doubt has his reward, and Jaggers, hardest nut of all, will be judged by the Lord. And Panks, the rent-collecting screw, with laurels on his brow, is loved by all the bleeding hearts in Bleeding Heart Yard now. Tom Pinch is very happy now, and Magwitch is at rest, and Newman Noggs again might hold his head up with the best. Micawber, too, when all is said, drank bravely sorrow's cup. Micawber worked to right them all, and something did turn up. How do John Edward Nandy, sir, and Plornish get along? Why, if the old man is in voice well hear him pipe a song. Well have a look at Baptiste, too, while still the night is young, with Mrs. Plornish to explain in the Italian tongue. Before we go, well, ask about poor young John Chivery. There never was a gentleman in all his family. His hopeless love, his broken heart, but to his rival true. He came of naturels gentlemen, but young John never knew. Well, pass the little midshipman with heart that swells and fills, where Captain Edlard Cuttle waits for Waller and Salgills. Jack Bunsby stands by what he says, which is nelt very clear, and toots with his own hopeless love, as true as any here. And who that read has never felt the sorrow that it cost when Captain Cuttle read the news the Elson and Errol was lost? And who that read has not rejoiced with him and Lartell's delight, and felt as Captain Cuttle felt when Waller came that night? And yonder, with a broken heart, that people thought was stone, deserted in his ruined home, poor Dombey sits alone, who has not gulped a something down, whose eye has not grown dim while feeling glad for Dombail's sake when Florence came to him. A stately house in Lincolnshire, the scene is bleak and cold, the footsteps on the terrace sound tonight at Chesney Wold. One who loved honor, wife, and truth, if nothing else besides, along the dreary avenue Sir Leicester Dedlock rides. Well, go round by Pole Sweedlepipels, the Bird and Barber shop. If Syrie Gamp is so dispaged, well, send her up a drop. Well, cross High Holborn to the Bull, and, if he cares to come, by streets that are not closed to him, well, see Dick Swiveller home. Hell's looking rather glum tonight, the why I will not ask. No matter how we act the goat, we mostly wear a mask. Some wear a mask to hide the false, and some the good and true. I wouldn't be surprised to know Mark Tapley wore one too. We wear a mask called cheerfulness while feeling sad inside. And men like Dombey, who was shy, oft wear a mask called pride. A front of pure benevolence the grinding patriarchal bore. And kind men often wear a mask like that, which Jaggers wore. But, never mind, Dick Swiveller. Well, see it out together beneath the wing of friendship, Dick, that never molts a feather. Well, look upon the rosy yet full many a night, old friend, and tread the mazy air we woo the balmy in the end. Our palace walls are rather bare, the floor is somewhat damp, but while Therrell's liquor, anywhere is good enough to camp. What ho, mine host, bring forth thine ale and let the board be spread. It is the hour when churchyards yawn and wine goes to the head. 'Twas you who saved poor Kit, old chap, when he was in a mess, but, what ho! Varlet, bring us wine. Heralds to the Marchioness, well make a scholar of her yet. Shall be a lady fair. Land she shall go in silk attire and siller have to spare. From sport to sport they hurry her to banish her regrets, and when we win a smile from her we cannot pay our debts. Left orphans at a tender age, wellra happiest in the land, wellra glorious Apollos, Dick, and Euler perpetual. Grand, Euler king of all philosophers, and let the godly rust. Heralds to the obscure citizen who sent the beer on trust. It sure would be a cheerful world if never man got tight. You spent your money on your friends, Dick Swiveller. Good night. La dissolute and careless man, an idle, drunken path. But see where Sidney Carton spills his last drink on the hearth. A ruined life, he lived for drink and but one thing beside, and oh, it was a glorious death that Sidney Carton died. And which I mean tersay as people, the voices hurry past, lay not to deceive you, Searle, stand by. Lawast, my lass, awast. Beware of widders, Samavel, and shun strong drink. My friend, and, lay not to put too fine a point upon it, I must end.